In Sahih al-Bukhari 5080, when Muhammad found out one of his companions married an older woman, he asked, "Why don't you have a liking for the virgins and for fondling them?" Allah's Messenger also said, "Why didn't you marry a young girl so that you might play with her and she with you?" What did Muhammad mean when he referred to marrying and playing with young girls? I'll let you decide as we go through the first video in this series on women in Islamic ideology. In Sahih al-Bukhari 6079, rarely did the Prophet fail to visit Abu Bakr's house in the morning and in the evening. And in 3905, Abu Bakr also prepared to leave for Medina, but Allah's Messenger said to him, "Wait for a while, because I hope that I will be allowed to migrate also." Abu Bakr and Muhammad were close friends, and Muhammad's pleading to Abu Bakr to delay his immigration as well as Muhammad's daily visits to Abu Bakr's house were no doubt in some way religiously motivated. Initially, Muhammad had only a few followers in Mecca, and they were a tightly knit group. But there seems to be another reason for Muhammad's closeness to Abu Bakr. He had a very young daughter. Muhammad married Aisha, Abu Bakr's daughter, when she was 6 years old. He consummated the marriage with her when she was 9. This is unanimous throughout the most reliable sources of Islamic history. In Sahih al-Bukhari 5133, narrated Aisha that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. In Sahih Muslim 3311, she was taken to Muhammad's house from a swing set in Sunan Abu Dawud 4915 as a bride when she was 9 and her dolls were with her. Sunan Abu Dawud 2116 narrated Aisha, the Messenger of Allah married me when I was 7 years old. The narrator adds, or 6 years, he had intercourse with me when I was 9 years old. In spite of one recorded objection by Abu Bakr that he and Muhammad were brothers in religion, Muhammad proceeded with his marriage to 6-year-old Aisha, the son of his best friend, and consummated the marriage when she was 9. It is one of the best attested facts of Muhammad's career. I'll pause at this point to address a defense that Muslim apologists typically offer to defend Muhammad's morality. Youths in that day and time matured quickly. I'll refer to this as the theory of accelerated maturity. This seems ad hoc for a number of reasons, but even if it were true, it would be true in general, and there could be exceptions. But in the case of Aisha, any theory of accelerated maturity is defeated in the Sahih. There is even more evidence of her tender age, aside from the swing sets and dolls described earlier. Aisha is also portrayed as a young girl who is inattentive and sleeps a lot in Bukhari 2637. In a parallel narration in Bukhari 2661, Aisha is a girl of immature age. Both of these narrations took place after she was married to Muhammad. A girl who is young, inattentive, sleeps a lot, is of immature age, and plays on swings with dolls doesn't sound like the best candidate for the theory of accelerated maturity. Further, sexual intercourse with young girls is also confirmed in the Quran. On the waiting times for divorce, Surah 65:4 states, "And those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their period is 3 months, and also for those who have not menstruated." The last phrase, "those who have not yet menstruated," requires some elucidation. Surah 65:4 is discussing waiting times for divorce. The purpose of this waiting period is to ensure that the women are not pregnant before the divorce is finalized. And so what it's saying is, those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their waiting time for their divorce period is 3 months. More on this from Tafsir Ibn Abbas, "O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period of those who do not have menstruation because they are too young?" And Tafsir Ibn Kathir, the same for the young who have not reached the years of menstruation. Their iddah is 3 months, like those in menopause. Now, all we've established so far is that marrying and subsequently divorcing prepubescent girls after a waiting period is authorized in the Quran in Surah 65. Now, this next part is extremely important. In Surah 33:49 it says, "When you marry believing women and then divorce them before you have touched them, then there is not for you any waiting period to count concerning them." So if you haven't slept with a woman, then there's no need to have a waiting period because you know that she's not pregnant. To summarize between these two ayat, waiting periods only apply in cases where sexual intercourse occurred. Waiting periods for divorce apply to prepubescent girls. Therefore, according to the Quran, sexual intercourse is allowed with prepubescent girls. Thus, the renowned 20th century Islamic scholar Sayyid Maududi is completely in accord with Islamic law when he summarizes, therefore making mention of the waiting period for the girls who have not yet menstruated clearly proves that it is not only permissible to give away the girl in marriage at this age, but it is also permissible for the husband to consummate the marriage with her. Now, obviously, no Muslim has the right to forbid a thing which the Quran has held as permissible. Given all this, Muhammad's saying cited at the beginning of this video is now given sufficient context for exegesis. Why don't you have a liking for the virgins and for fondling them? Why didn't you marry a young girl so that you might play with her and she with you? Sexual intercourse with prepubescent girls is clearly sanctioned by the Quran, and Muhammad called an excellent example for mankind. But this isn't just an abstract academic exercise. As a result of this ideology, young girls around the world have suffered extensively for many centuries, and they still do. If you think the content in part 1 of this series was repulsive, unfortunately, we're just getting started.